I just wanted to do hey everyone, I just wanted to do a quick video on how I hunt. So I think I mentioned this in my introductory video, but I'll mention it again. So if you haven't gotten the theme overall, I'm a stand hunter, meaning I don't walk around the woods. There's several reasons for that. Now it's more about physicality. I'm not conditioned for it. If I'm going to do something, I want to be in the right condition for it, meaning that I want to be in shape. So I'm not necessarily in shape for that. So I tend to be a stand hunter, but it's more about safety too. I like to be aware of my surroundings at all time, and when you're walking around the woods, it just increases chances of things to happen. So I tend to sit down. So all my strategies and all my equipment is set around stand hunting. I could easily, transition to still hunting if I had the physical attributes I needed to do that. So basically, what I have is, I have my tree stands. I have now one of those little tents that I bought last year, and I'm probably going to use those tents either in brand new areas, or if it's raining or snowing out, I might pop it up. Now, there's a lot of things to think about when you're hunting from a tent. Tree stands are different. You can kind of get away with it setting up as on a temporary basis in terms of like scent or settling the woods. You can always kind of set it up quick and it's out of view. Tents stick out. I mean, it's ground level. You got to worry about deer noticing, and deer will notice it. You will make them nervous, especially if they've been shot at for a while. Anything out of the ordinary will make them nervous. It's something important to know. So adding another blob in the middle of the woods will definitely alarm them, and they probably won't even approach unless they're completely preoccupied. So my hint for that, for strategy, and it is a good hint, I think, is I've always learned that, how can I say this? Deer look at rocks differently, or because you can kind of blend in better on a rock than you can sitting in the woods. It's almost like kryptonite for them, for acknowledgement. The first deer I ever shot, I was sitting in a set of rocks, almost like a throne. And I noticed that even after that deer literally didn't really see me, even though he's looking right at me. It was just, if I was sitting on a tree, I can guarantee you he would have never showed up. So rocks give you an advantage. Even if you're wearing camo, if you sit in a set of rocks, because of the silhouette, because deer are used to it, it almost gives you almost like a free pass. So it's something to think about. I know when I think about setting up in an area where I couldn't put my tent, I would really want to look for a set of rocks. I know that's almost an impossible venture because, unless you're on the side of a mountain, but it's something to think about. Even little recessions, if you can set your stand, your tent up in a little recession, a little dip in the land, bringing your silhouette even lower, I think that will help as well. But besides that, you're kind of on your own, or putting it behind a brush pile, or in front, or somewhere situated as such that you have a breakup. Now they mentioned, putting a whole bunch of stuff on your stand. I think that doesn't necessarily improve your chances, just by a logical perspective. Unless you make it a big pile, like if you're hunting corn and you pile it up all on the thing to make it look like a pile of corn. That's the only thing I can think of that would actually improve your chances, but not necessarily. So I just want to throw that out there, is when you think about hunting from a tent or even sitting down somewhere, rocks do give you somewhat of an advantage. It doesn't break up your scent anymore. It's more about deer picking you off versus sitting on the base of a tree. Something to think about, and I'll probably use that tent in that section where I hunt. It's pretty close to where I have my tree stands, and I can easily set that up. And if it does rain, I can hunt all day. And to me, that would be an advantage. And plus, what I really enjoyed, I only hunted it once. What I really, really enjoyed about it, I can kind of relax. I don't move that much, but it'll consume my movement. I really enjoyed hunting from it, especially if the wind's blowing. And hopefully I'll set up in an area where a tree limb won't fall on me. But I definitely would do that again, and especially if it starts to snow, I'm definitely going to sit in one of those ground blinds. Another thing you can get, if you can't afford a ground blind or a tree stand, or if you don't feel safe in a tree stand yet, is they make these little camo mesh ground material. I would definitely recommend that if you're like hunting in a brush pile type of thing. If you're hunting in a brush pile and it's in front of you, you can lay that stuff across as long as it's treated obviously for scent. And it actually gives you an added shadow, so if a deer is looking into that brush pile, they're not going to see any orange per se, because you kind of have that mesh. It almost adds a shadow. It covers your movement a little bit better. It might give you an advantage. And it's very light to pack, so if you put it in your backpack or you put it in your fanny pack, you have enough material to kind of give another dimension or shadow for a deer looking your way. So that might help. Something to think about. It works best for brush piles, though. I have used it for brush piles. And you can use it for tree stands as well, but primarily I use that stuff for if I'm mobile, meaning that I don't have any tree stands up, or it's a new area, or I just want to mix it up a little bit, and I thought I had a theory, and I see a brush pile, I'll take that out, I'll set that up. Quick setup. It doesn't require too much, thought in setting it up, and it might give you a slight advantage over an approaching deer. So those are the methods. Also have a stool that I'll bring along, and if need be, I'll find a couple of trees that are down, and I'll sit there, and I'll probably point out how to kind of do that this season if I have time. I don't tend to like to do videos in the woods, especially if it's in my hunting area, but if I am outside my area, or if I'm in an area where I don't think I'm on a hunt, I'll probably do a couple of videos and try to point out how I kind of think about setting up. I think that's about it. I just want to let everyone know how I approach things. I'm not going to be a still hunter, so I'm not going to be a guy that walks through the woods. I'm not going to show you any sort of things on what to wear and what to do for still hunters. I find still hunters are either really newbies or everyday people that don't necessarily need a deer or want a deer, or super experienced hunters. So I'm more of a stand hunter. I'd rather be that super experienced hunter that's in shape and knows what they're doing versus the other two, obviously. So hopefully that works for everyone, and thank you for watching.
Who's pushing on the forest floor? My heart rate jumps even more. Looking for the buck to fill my tag. Straight out of a hunting bag. Drop time 14, making his way down. It's time for his last showdown. Breathe in, breathe out, hold it.